month at the Austrian World Summit, which was about climate and hosted by former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. Greta Thunberg, in classic Greta mode, gave a scathing speech. And again, she just nailed it, was right on. But basically, she talked about how world leaders, corporate leaders, these our elected officials and business people are basically just play acting. Like her theme was really about performative politics, right? It's climate theater, where basically they're just saying all the right things in front of the camera to look good and to sound good, but behind the scenes, it's status quo, business as usual, right? So they're just in front of the camera to the world, they're just pretending to act on climate change and the climate crisis, but really behind the scenes, they're still doing the same old things that they've been doing which includes working with the lobbyists, taking money from big oil, coal, and all of their special interests, right? So we just have this continuous pattern of elected officials and corporate leaders who are basically just it's greenwashing, but it's performative climate theater. So everything looks good and it sounds like, well, something is happening when really not. The level of things that we need to happen, given where we are with the climate crisis and the time frame that we have, the level of action that needs to be done is far from bold enough and aggressive enough, because we don't have time. We don't have time anymore, and we can't be appeasing big fossil fuel and coal anymore. Like we've got to ban fracking. We've got to stop the subsidies to the fossil fuel industry. We cannot solve a crisis and include the very same corporations and consciousness that created this crisis in the first place. It's counterproductive. It is even counterintuitive. But again, this is going to take massive effort on not just here in the United States, but on a global effort. It's going to take a global effort. But us, in the United States, we are the wealthiest country on the planet. We also are, per capita, one of the worst greenhouse gas emissions, offenders in the planet as well, right? And a lot of it has to do with our consumeristic lifestyle that we have here. So it's going to take monumental effort on all of our parts, but also what is like a crucial, like, a really big roadblock that we have right now is politics. It's our elected officials. If we're going to get the Green New Deal, we have to elect politicians that will enact the Green New Deal. And that's from all levels, right? From the local levels, from our city, city councils, our mayors, our governors, to our members of Congress, our senators, and then President of the United States, right? So we're already halfway through 2021, and we've got elections for the House and Senate in 2022, right? A lot of candidates have already started announcing their run for office. And so it's very crucial. And I know a lot of people are like, I just don't like politics. I hate getting involved in politics. And believe me, I totally get it. I feel you on that. But if you really care about climate action and getting things done, we have got to get involved and get people elected into office who will fight for climate change, who will not take money from big fossil fuel and coal, who will not do the bidding of these corporations and their special interests. Like, it's absolutely crucial. And again, we cannot elect people who will say one thing in front of the camera and do a whole other thing behind the scenes. Now, here's a great example of this. Food and Water Watch, they are doing a President Biden climate watch. And recently they did this incredible thread on Twitter outlining where Biden promised certain things and his administration is doing the opposite. In fact, they are still very much working with big fossil fuel, status quo, just like before. So it really is not a huge difference between what's happening now and when the Republicans in. Because remember, they all work for the same money that comes from corporations and billionaires and special interests, right? So this is, again, more reason why we need to get money out of politics. Because as long as money is involved in politics, these corporations and these billionaires and wealthy people who benefit from, profiting off big fossil fuel and coal, like, they're still going to have influence in there. So, which is a whole other, issue we have to deal with. But in the meantime, we as individuals can have impact on this by organizing and mobilizing in our local communities, in elections, but also in our own local Green New Deal type initiatives to deal with climate change and the climate crisis that we face. So again, I'm going to put links to Greta's speech. Please watch it because, again, it is another epic speech from her, and there's a lot of good sound bites that you can take and use when you're out there doing your own activism and organizing. And then I'll also include the link to the thread that Food and Water Watch did and to their website page where you can continue to watch and participate in their Biden Climate Watch. It's really good stuff. So again, we need to hold our politicians and our business leaders accountable, and enough with this performative climate action, right? No more climate theater. We need people who are serious, bold, and are going to walk the talk, because we're in a climate crisis and we don't have time anymore. We don't have any time and we don't have any patience. It's time to act boldly now.